Hello, this is Mike Ruff from RSA. Dr. Young told me he wanted me to discuss with you a little bit about how we 3D print our caps and inserts, and first tell you about our cap. I don't think this was something you were wanting as much, but the caps I print out of a PETG material, and they work really well. The only difference between these and the ones you purchase from, like, say, VFR is that these are out of a plastic that can be autoclaved, and the thermoplastic that's used in the 3D printing cannot be autoclaved. So you're looking at 10 US dollars and about 75 cents US dollars is a difference in price, at least. So if you need a bunch, this is a nice inexpensive way to go. Anyway, that's not really what we're looking at. We are looking at the inserts. This particular insert was machined out of Delrin, and now I am actually 3D printing them. I found a way to do it. So this is a 3D printed version, and this is printed out of ABS material. And ABS is important for making sure that it's sealed and does not leak. And I'll show you how we do that in just a moment. But when we first print them, we print them like this. They only have a center hole. The hole's a little bit undersized. And after printing them, here's one that's just freshly printed. I print a brim on it. It's got a little bit of an edge to it. So I will chuck this up into, say, a mill. If you have a lathe. If you have a lathe, that works great for trimming this edge. I actually chuck these into my drill press, and will take a file and just basically smooth that edge off. And so when I'm finished with it, it will look like this one that I have here, where it's just a smoothed off edge. So the first step we do is maybe smoothing off the edges and cleaning them up. Next is drilling a hole in them, and I've actually got a jig that I've made, and what this jig does is it allows me to drill my first hole, and then, well, I guess you go this way. After I drill a hole, I slide it over, and that lines up my second hole into it. That we just have to make sure that this second hole is inside this rim right here. We don't want it sticking through the edge, or we can have some leaks. And then I'll go ahead and I'm putting a counter bore into it. The counter bore allows for the gasket to be underneath the lure fitting. So the counter bore that I've got is just a drill bit with the edge ground off, and this particular one is 11/32 of an inch drill bit. Could be even a skosh bigger, but that seems to work. And I do the same thing. I chuck it up in here and counter bore, slide over, counter bore the other side. The lures that go into it are from a company called Arcplas, and it's in Arkansas. It's basically a plastic company in Arkansas called Arcplas, ARKPLAS. That's who we buy these from. The thread that's on this is the US thread quarter 28. Yes, that's correct, quarter 28. And so the next step after that will be tapping the holes. So you can hand tap these as long as you keep them good and straight. I've got a tapping machine that I use my drill press to tap these with, but it doesn't really matter how they're tapped, as long as they're tapped. When I put the lures in, I've got some little gaskets that I put around these just to make sure that they make a good seal. We also have a gasket that we'll put around the whole thing that will seal it to the bottle. So all that should keep it sealed. I can't get this on with one hand, but so all that'll keep it sealed. The last step will be to make sure that the plastic itself does not have any holes leading through the interior, to allow it to leak. And what I use for that is I'm using methyl ethyl ketone. You can also use acetone, but I prefer the MEK. I've got some in this little squirt bottle, and I will just basically mist the underside of it and allow that to dry and cure, and then I will do the top of it, allow that to dry and cure, and that sort of melt. That's why I use ABS, because ABS will immediately start to break down, or not break down, but just melt with the MEK. And so it will melt, fill in all those holes, and then cure within just a couple of minutes. So I squirt on the top and on the inside of it, and when we're finished with that, they do not leak. So we do that, put the lids on it. We'll pressure test them sometimes, put them together, plug one side, put a little air into it, stick the whole thing underwater, see if anything bubbles. But they are very leak proof when they're done. So ABS, I'm printing them 100% infill using a concentric infill, and I don't drill that second. I don't print the second hole, because as it prints around that hole, it'll cause tiny little holes for leaking. So I just concentrically print around this hole, giving me my center, and then I go ahead and open that hole up with my drill bit, and then I slide over and drill my second hole. This drill bit for quarter 28, you can look that up, but it is it's a number 3. Well, I usually use the number 7 wire gauge drill bit, and a number 7 is 0.201 inches diameter is the drill bit of that particular drill bit. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to help you. Thank you.